Now at noon, this man is charged with murder, accused of killing a man in Charlotte. The meeting before shots were fired and the challenge for homicide detectives this year.
And a cold front is moving into our area, bringing strong winds and also strong to severe storms. We're going to time it all out coming up.
Also breaking, new search warrants are painting a better picture in a triple murder of a mother and her 2 children. We're breaking down what they say. You're watching Eyewitness News at noon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brittany Johnson, and I'm starting in Severe Weather Center 9 with meteorologist Jacqueline Shear. Because Jacqueline, this afternoon it could be rocky. We could see strong winds just within the next few hours.
Yeah, you know what? Part of it is that cold front that's pushing into our area, and some of it will break apart in the mountains. But then once it gets to us, some of it might redevelop because of the heat and humidity already in our area, and it is pretty muggy out there. Here's a look at temperatures. We are in the mid 80s right now. We haven't seen a lot of climb over the past few hours because of all that cloud cover that's rolled in, but what we have seen is, again, a lot of that humidity. Dew points right now in the low 70s, so that is not very helpful when we're talking about avoiding these storms. Strong storm threat with winds 10 to 20 miles an hour before we see a thunderstorm. And when those storms start to roll in here over the next few hours, they'll be bringing with them those thunderstorm winds and those strong gusts that could be even more damaging. And that's actually the main risk associated with this system here. There is also a chance that we could be seeing some large hail and a very slight chance of a tornado. Unfortunately, we just cannot rule it out at this point. We're going to take a look at which areas are most likely to see that severe weather and time it all out coming up in just a few minutes. Brittany?
We are following breaking news. Police arrested the person they say shot and killed a man in southeast Charlotte last night. It is the latest member of our community to lose their life in such a violent way. Investigators say Darren McDonald killed Kenneth Armstrong on Clifton Meadow Avenue. Veteran crime reporter Glenn Counts is live for us now. And Glenn, police say the two were meeting before those shots were fired.
Well, that is correct, Brittany. One of the questions is, what were they meeting about? We don't have an answer to that. One of the things we can tell you is that both men have been arrested before on prior drug charges that may or may not have something to do with fists. Now, yesterday morning around 1 o'clock, investigators arrested Darren McDonald and charged him with murder for killing 22-year-old Kenneth Armstrong. That occurred near a neighborhood pool on Clifton Meadow Drive, which is in the Independence Division. Now, Armstrong had been shot, and he managed to drive himself to the hospital, but he did not survive. That neighborhood over there is fairly quiet, and the murder came as a shock to the people who live there.
It's just very scary living so close to a homicide. I've never been this close to a homicide before, so something needs to be done, obviously, but what is that?
Well, that is obviously some of the questions that a lot of people in the community are asking themselves. Now, this murder is Charlotte's 57th. The next one will put us at 58, which will put us at the same mark for all of last year. And, of course, we still have half the year to go.
Right.
And so it's a very frustrating time for those who are working on this problem. Back to you.
It is. Well, Glenn, quick question. Certainly, startling to hear that we're almost at the same number that we had this time last year. I mean, this time this year. And we have a long way to go. What are police doing to try to stop this violence?
Well, one of the things they've done is they've called the community to help. And the past couple of cases, they have definitely gotten that response. And as a result, we're able to make quick arrests. The other things they've done is they've kind of repositioned the crime reduction unit, which had been focusing on property crimes, and turned the focus on violent crimes. And they've been in neighborhood hotspots, trying to reduce it. But with all of that, this problem is still staring us in the face, and it doesn't appear to be going anywhere anytime soon.
All right, thank you so much. Our Glenn Counts live for us. Thank you, Glenn. We know you'll continue working on this story and finding out more information. We'll hear from you again at 5. Thank you. Breaking now in Alexander County. Channel 9 just obtained new search warrants in a triple murder investigation. Deputies believe 2 children and their mother were murdered at their home north of Taylorsville before that home was then set on fire this weekend. Our Dave Verity has been going through the court papers all morning, where he learned that one of the suspects admitted to being involved in the murders.
That suspect is a 16-year-old girl. According to these court papers, she admitted to deputies during an interview that she ran over a 12-year-old girl after she says her boyfriend killed 2 of her family members. Take a look at some of this video. We were with deputies this morning as they continued their search along the Catawba River for the mother, Maria Calderon. They believe the suspect dumped her body in the river after killing her 2 children, an 11-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl, and setting a fire to cover up the crime. Police have charged Aurelia Aguirre Avilés and his girlfriend Heidi Wolf with 3 counts of first-degree murder. Avilés at one time dated the mother, but earlier this year she got a restraining order against him after he threatened to burn her home down. We spoke with the sheriff earlier about efforts to find that mother.
Such a tragedy for the family, whole family and friends. And of course we want to, like I say, bring closure as soon as we can, you know, by finding the body.
And according to these court papers, deputies smelled the odor of gasoline when they arrived at the home. I'm told that a candlelight vigil is planned for this weekend on Sunday evening for the family here at the courthouse grounds in Taylorsville. Reporting from Alexander County, I'm Dave Faherty, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you so much, Dave. Also breaking at noon, police now say a pedestrian has died after a car hit them in University City. It happened just before 9 on University City Boulevard and IKEA Boulevard. It is not clear if the person was hit in the road or in a crosswalk. We are asking if the driver stopped and whether they'll face any charges. In West Charlotte, one person died in this crash on I-85 and I-485 after the car went underneath a tractor trailer. Troopers closed 3 lanes as they investigated, causing major backups into Gaston County. Troopers have not identified the person killed or said what caused the crash, but the road there is back open. And in Gaston County, no one was hurt when this tractor trailer flipped onto US 321 just north of Dallas Turville Highway. Gaston County Communications couldn't say what was inside the tractor trailer, but said it was not a hazmat concern. It took several hours to clear that crash. Breaking right now, an investor is now buying a historic building in North Charlotte. The Excelsior Club opened up on Beatties Ford Road back in the 1940s. It became popular with Charlotte's African-American community, hosting musicians and politicians. Well, now it needs major repairs, and it's in danger of being demolished. The broker says they are under contract with an investor in California who plans to preserve the club and its history. Well, deputies are trying to find an armed and dangerous suspect they say followed a teen and her friend in their car, then fired shots at them, killing the girl. Witnesses told deputies Rue Huff followed Amber Horton and her friend down Highway 151 in Pageland last night. Witnesses say Huff fired several shots out of the driver's side window, hitting Horton. Deputies are actively looking for Huff. If you know where he is, call deputies right away. Well, firefighters put their lives on the line every single day, battling fires, and they're also risking their health because many believe that chemicals that cause cancer can then get onto their uniforms during a fire and stay there. Well, Charlotte firefighters are making a big push to prevent and minimize cancer risk in their department. This week, they're observing Safety Stand-Down Week. It's all about learning why they have to make and take certain precautions like washing their gear, their faces, and their trucks after fires to get rid of carcinogens. Well, at 5, our Elsa Gillis will share some of their personal battles and the precautions being taken. For the past several years, I've investigated the increased cancer risk for our firefighters. Levine Cancer Institute is trying to figure out exactly why so many firefighters are getting cancer. Many local departments require firefighters to wash their uniforms immediately after they leave the scene or even send it off to a more thorough cleaning if needed. That cancer risk was paramount for the Harrisburg Fire Department when it was built, and they built this new fire station. It now has a special room for firefighters' gear, and it's complete with a separate ventilation system. That means the rest of the fire station is not breathing in those chemicals. Well, you can find all of my investigations on this issue on our WSOC-TV News app. All you have to do is search for this topic. Police are still trying to track down 2 people who assaulted 2 women in different parts of Charlotte. One at a bus stop on West Arrowwood Road in Steel Creek. The other, a woman was forced into the woods across town on W.T. Harris Boulevard. Very disturbing. Veteran crime reporter Mark Becker live for us now. And Mark, you've been speaking with police all morning. What have you learned?
Yeah, Brittany, this is the stretch of East W.T. Harris where that one attack happened yesterday morning about 5 o'clock. And what we have learned is that police had extra officers out here yesterday afternoon, last night, and again this morning, just to see if they could find any leads that would point to the attacker. Yesterday, police did have a briefing out here to detail what had happened and to ask for help tracking down the suspect in the attack here and another possible unrelated attack on the other side of Charlotte. The attack here was particularly troubling, though, because the 63-year-old woman was out here for her regular morning walk about 5 o'clock in the morning when that suspect grabbed her and sexually assaulted her. Police say that she was able to fight back and the attacker did leave, but the fear certainly didn't. So they had extra officers out here yesterday afternoon and last night and again early this morning, but at this point cannot say if they developed any solid leads in the case. They do say that the suspect here was a black male, about 5'4", 140, so a smallish build, but he was wearing a mask and a hoodie, so they certainly don't have a whole lot of description to work with. They are hoping that lab work will help them identify him down the road, but at this point, it's all pretty wide open. Brittany?
Certainly hoping for answers soon. Thank you. Our Mark Becker reporting live for us at noon. We'll see you back at 5 o'clock with the latest on this. Well, police say someone shot a 15-year-old girl in West Charlotte, but she was not the target. Officers say that around 8:45 last night, multiple suspects in a car shot at several people standing on Mulberry Pond Drive. One of those people, a 15-year-old girl, was shot in a major artery in her leg. An officer applied a tourniquet, and that may have saved her life. She is expected to be okay. Well, keeping your children safe on the internet. New and next. The investigation into YouTube, the changes the company is making, and how South Carolina is now protecting children.
And this cold front brings strong winds and severe storms this afternoon. We'll take a look at which areas are most likely to see those storms and when, coming up.
And a teen is accused of opening fire inside of his high school. Next, the reason his parents are now charged in the shooting.
Weather on WSOC is driven by Toyota of North Charlotte, I-77, exit 23, where big city low prices are just a click away.
The FTC may be investigating YouTube over how it handles kids' videos. Several reports say the FTC is in the late stages of an investigation into possible violations of children's privacy. This comes as the company considers changing the way it handles child content, including preventing videos from automatically playing after one finishes. It's also looking at moving the kids' videos off of the main platform and onto YouTube Kids only. Channel 9 has covered several incidents over the last few years involving kids and videos. Earlier this year, YouTube took down a pedophilia operation. A blogger said it sexualized innocent videos of young girls and turned a profit. And a Florida mother says that she was watching a cartoon on YouTube Kids when she found this spliced in. The man explains how someone can cut their wrist, and then the cartoon restarts. Just yesterday, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster signed the Children's Internet Safety Pledge. It includes a promise to aggressively enforce laws that go after criminals who exploit kids online.
There's nothing more important than a safe, happy environment for our children to live and grow and become citizens.
South Carolina is the first state to sign the Internet Safety Pledge. McMaster will now send it to the rest of the nation's governors, calling on them to do the same. The parents of the teen accused of opening fire inside of this New Mexico high school are now facing charges. Police say that a 16-year-old student fired at 3 students in February, but missed. Well, police arrested the teen, saying he intended to kill his girlfriend and others. Now his parents are facing charges for contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
This potentially opens the door to a lot of people who may not know that they would be liable for this kind of inability to predict future behavior.
Police say nearly a year before the shooting, Dale and Tamara Owen were warned their son was hearing voices to shoot up his school. But police say that his parents never locked up their gun, and that was used in that school shooting. Cabarrus County is exploding with growth, and now it'll cost families. Monday night, commissioners voted unanimously to pass a 2-cent property tax increase. The county says it'll bring in an extra $4.7 million, specifically for transportation. Without it, some commissioners say the county would have faced a deficit by 2021. They point to the county schools as an example of its massive growth.
A lot of folks move to Cabarrus County because of the quality of our schools, and that's a big driver in this tax increase.
The county also goes through its next revaluation process next year when home values could go up. Meteorologist Jacqueline Shear has a look at the forecast for us. This actually looks pretty nice, but we need to soak this up because, Jacqueline, you've been tracking some big changes on the way for us today.
Yeah, even with those clouds, we are starting to see some more storm cloud activity out there right now. And unfortunately, that is what we'll be dealing with for the rest of the day, with some of those storms being strong to even severe. So right now we're at 85 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. And as we're pushing through today, the one good thing that you can hold on to is that after this, we do get a really nice break from the rain and from the storms. But this afternoon, it really ramps up, especially during the time of that evening commute. So if you are on those roadways, if you have somewhere to be after work, you might just want to take it slow out there. Plan for a little bit of extra time to get home today, because when we're starting to see some of that pooling on roadways, which we're likely to see during this time, that could cause some issues. So taking a look right now at our national satellite and radar network, this is the system that we're tracking as it pushes towards us here over the next few hours. You can see as it strengthens, this cold front really will have a big impact on us. As we're pushing through today, from about 2 to 5 p.m. will be the heaviest time for storms, and then after that we're looking to dry out considerably. That main line of storms arrives in the metro around 3, maybe as late as 4 p.m. depending on how it makes it through the mountains. Now, one thing to point out is that some of it will break up as it passes through the mountains, so you want to keep that in mind, but we will start to see some of those storms developing. So about 50% of the area today does see that rain, with some of those storms becoming strong to severe. Here's a look at the rest of the 7-day forecast. Part of the reason why those storms break apart in the mountains and then redevelop in the area, in the Piedmont area, is because of all of that heat and humidity in the region. We're still at 89 degrees. Our dew points are in the low 70s right now, so it feels very muggy out there.
It does.
Over the next few days, though, those 90s, they'll feel at least a little bit more comfortable when it comes down to ramping down that humidity.
Okay, lower humidity, but the temperature does not move at all.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Jacqueline. At least 6 people robbed at ATMs. Next, how police say the suspect tricked people into helping him first before threatening them. Police believe a man may have robbed at least 6 people at Rock Hill ATMs in recent months. They say there is an unusual pattern in these cases. The latest one was Tuesday night on Cherry Road. Officers say the robber told a man that he needed a ride to Bank of America. Well, during that ride, he said that he had a weapon and forced the driver to withdraw cash. Police say the robber is targeting people's emotions.
Either he can read their mannerisms and tell that they're kind-hearted souls or whatever, and then he asked them to go to an ATM machine. He just played on this kid's heartstrings, and the young man thought he was helping somebody.
Police are looking at security video from the latest robbery to identify the robber. In the next 90 minutes, Spirit will start flying out of Charlotte Douglas Airport. The planes will fly to and from 4 cities: Baltimore, Fort Lauderdale, Newark, and Orlando. The official launch for Spirit begins at Charlotte Douglas at 1:30.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time.
Jacqueline, it's almost kind of deceiving when you look out right now because you got blue skies.
Yeah, you know, but that system is moving in very, very quickly.
Okay.
And we've been seeing that over the past few hours. Here's a look from our national satellite and radar network, and you can see just how quickly that cold front is pushing towards us, all of that rain, all of those storms. So within the next few hours, we'll be seeing the scattered storms to start. That's about 1 p.m. And then as we continue into the later part of the afternoon, that line of storms is what will be strong to severe. Now, I'm thinking that some of that does break up as it passes through the mountains. This futurecast is not very good at showing that, but a lot of that will stay intact as it pushes through, and some of it will even redevelop. So about 50% of the area sees that rain as it passes through, and some of those storms that will be severe that come along with it. After today, we get a break.
So looking at about 3 to 5, that's kind of the rocky hours for us.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, so be mindful of that. Good time to have our WSOC app. Thank you all for joining us this midday. We'll see you again on Eyewitness News at 5. Have a great afternoon.
WSOC-TV is a Cox Media Group station.